So you want to learn how to hydro dip? Well, you came to the right spot. Actually, I don't know if it's the right spot because I'm no expert by any means, and I've only hydro dipped like 3 or 4 times. But I'll teach you what I know so far and what I've learned from doing a couple hydro dips myself. The absolute first thing you want to do is figure out what you want to hydro dip. I've done helmets and shoes so far. For this video, we're gonna do shoes. I tend to always go with Vans. Today we've got some classic slip-ons here. Personally, my favorite. There's a lot of surface for the dip to go onto. These are the bad boys today. The second thing you want to do is tape up whatever you don't want paint on the shoe. So I normally go around the sole and then a little Vans tag. I'm gonna be taping in real time, so you'll see my process. So now that you got your shoes taped how you want them to be, the next step is to pick out colors. On my normal projects, I use gold Montana spray paint. I use that for my car, for canvases, for boards, but it doesn't work with hydro dipping for some reason. Rust-Oleum spray paint from like Lowe's works, which I found. Pick the colors you think would work well with each other. I've actually had some colors picked out for me because these shoes are for someone. So blue, white, light blue, tan. These are the colors I'm gonna work with today. But after you pick your colors, you gotta pick a bucket. This bucket was clear when I first got it, but this is all evidence from all of my hydro dip videos, and honestly, I kind of like it. It's turning into its own art piece. The bucket isn't too important. The only purpose is to hold the water and make sure it's deep enough so when you can dip something into it. But after you get your bucket, now we need some water. Oh, and you also need a mask for when you spray paint. Well, you don't need it, but I prefer it. There's a lot of toxic fumes that come up from the spray paint, so this will help protect your lungs. But yeah, now back to the water. I got water. Really, that's the whole point of just water. So I thought I was filming me fill up the bucket, but I didn't hit record. There's water in the bucket now. That's all this step was. Fill up the bucket with water. What I like to do, and obviously I make YouTube videos, so when I'm doing this whole process, I have this little GoPro that can go underwater, so that gets a nice cool up angle of all the paint coming down onto it. And then also I have this little Osmo Pocket. It's like a mini gimbal, and so this is what I use for like a side angle, and then I use this camera that I'm talking to right now as like the overview down shot. So I try to get a couple cool angles to make the video more interesting. But if you're not filming it, then the next step is to simply spray the water. There really isn't a wrong way to do this. The only thing I'm doing is trying to mix up the colors the best I can, just spraying different colors in different locations in order to like create this swirly, marbly effect. But it's really just whatever you prefer and what designs you want. All I'm doing here is deciding where I want to dip the shoe, because obviously you can put it wherever you want. So I found a spot right, almost right there. Oh, right here. That's where I want to dip the shoe, and simply just dip it in. All I gotta do is wipe away all the paint on the top so it doesn't get on the shoe when you pull the shoe back out of the water. All I gotta do now, lift the shoe out of the water, dump any water that's in the shoe, and admire what you just created. So after you dip one shoe, obviously there's no paint left to dip the other shoe, so all I gotta do is just use the same colors and spray the water again. I don't clean the water, I use the same water because I'm using the same colors. But with this one, I actually went with like a super low amount of spray paint, and it made bigger, marble effect. And I think it turned out pretty cool. And again, just finding where I want to dip the shoe. I'm having some second thoughts. Don't really know where I want to put it. And there seems like a good spot. And just simply submerge the shoe nice and slowly. Nice and slowly. Bada boom, bada bing, wipe, 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 wipe. And we're pretty much all good. About time to lift up the shoe. And here we go. Bada boom, bada bing, you know what I'm saying? Huh? You know what I'm saying? But yeah, simple enough. Simple enough. Those came out like super cool. It's always, I feel like it happens every video I make with hydro dipping. I do it and I'm like, oh, these are my favorite pair of shoes ever. But these colors just worked well with each other. And yeah, so the next step after the excitement is to let these guys dry. Once they're dry, you can take the tape off and everything, so let them dry out because they are wet. Hence hydro dipping, not air drip. They're wet, so they gotta dry.
Later that same evening.
As you can tell, there's no sound coming out of my mouth. That is because I filmed the past 15 minutes without my audio on. Good. Good job, Nick. What I was trying to say is that it's been a couple hours and the shoes are pretty much dried. Now comes the most satisfying part, taking off the tape, which has no sound because I just did it and my mic wasn't on. So enjoy this tape coming off without any audio. So I found that this Max Shield, it's just a waterproofer used on boots, shoes, outer gear, and camping material. I use this stuff to like coat the shoes just to give it a little bit more protection. This gives me some sense of security that the shoes will be okay now that they get coated. So I did one coat and I'm gonna let that dry for a little bit and then do another, and then we'll be good to go. We're almost done. And the next step is to get some nice B-roll. Some final shots of the shoes all done. So the absolute last step is to say thank you for watching this video. I hope you guys enjoyed this process and how to hydro dip. Hopefully you guys can try it yourself and it's not that intimidating. It's just a lot of little moving parts. If you do try it, please let me know. Comment down below saying, I just made a video and I'll come check it out, and I'm super interested to see if anyone can learn from like my experiences in this tutorial. I'll be back in a couple days, so don't you worry. And yeah, if you want to subscribe, cool. If not, cool. I'm not gonna force you. I'm out. Peace.